If you're a goalkeeper who wants to go pro and become part of that 1%, you need to realize why 99% of you guys will never make it. And it's not because of your skill or your talent level. It's because of these three things that I'm going to break down in this video today. Because I bet you most of you guys are doing the same things. You guys are going to your team trainings, you guys are going to your goalkeeper trainings, and then you guys are just hoping that a scout will randomly notice you. And to be honest, I was understanding that the hard way because at 16, I was also at a local club in Canada. I had no pro goalkeeper training. I was training at a local park, and I was even cut from my provincial team. But I went on to go to a Premier League academy. Then I played in the Champions League, and I've played over 100 professional matches. But when I took that move from my local club to the Premier League, that was a massive wake-up call that I was not doing nearly enough when I was at that local club. And that's why I want to make sure that you guys are ready for when your opportunity comes. Because let's be real, before you can even think about going pro, first you need to start competing at a Premier League academy level. Because to be honest, even only 10 of us in that academy actually made it in this game. So if you are serious, pay attention because these are the three things that are going to be holding you back from your fullest potential. Before we even start talking about your crosses or your 1v1s, agents, and transfers, we need to go to the fundamental level of your belief system because that's where everything starts. Trust me, I'm speaking from experience. When I was in my teenage years, I thought I knew everything and I thought I was top G. But who was I comparing myself to? The local guys at the park? Because if I want to be king of the village, that's fine. But if I want to make it in this game, I gotta start thinking way bigger than that. I've seen so many keepers think that they're the guy growing up, but then they go into a higher level and they get humbled. And suddenly they're at the bottom of the totem pole and their ego can't handle that and they can't recover. So they quit and they make an excuse of why they never made it. So the first thing you need to do is change your belief system. Stop worrying about the guys at the local park. They shouldn't be on your level. You need to start thinking higher. Start thinking about competing with the guys at Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Chelsea's academy. Because what they're doing right now is what you should be doing today. And so now that we flipped our belief system, now we gotta start putting in those actions to get at that level. But the first thing you're gonna tell me is, but coach, I don't have the same training facilities. I don't have a goalkeeper coach. I don't know what to do. I'll give you an example. When I was 23 in 2020, I had hip surgery and I had 4 physios tell me that you're never going to play again. It was the middle of winter in the middle of COVID. So all I had was a basement. And in those 7 months, that was the most improvement I ever seen in my 10 years as a professional. And after that, I went to Toronto FC and I started training with them on trial and got signed. I was getting shots from Jose Altidore, Jonathan Osorio, Michael Bradley, and they're like, yo, who is this guy? How is he making these crazy saves? And it's because I started working on the cognitive skills that you've never actually worked on. If you want that exact same training system and direct mentorship from me, that's why I created Goalkeepers University. The link is in the description below. There's probably a couple spots available. But now let's talk about the final piece to get you to that level. Because if you've never gone pro, how could you know the best way to get there? You have no idea how we think, how we play, how we train, how we move. You don't understand how to navigate a transfer. You don't understand how to deal with an agent. And that's completely normal because you've never done it before. If I asked you to go and cook a perfect piece of steak for me right now, you probably couldn't do it because you've never done it before. And that's okay. That's why people hire tutors and chefs, because they want to learn from the best. Because trust me, I'm speaking from experience. I didn't know either when I was growing up. When I was 19, I had a big move to the Serie A for 300K. But because of lack of guidance from my agent, the deal fell through and eventually I moved to another club. Because without the insights and understanding of how this game works and seeing behind the curtains, how could you really know the right move to make? And to be honest, as a professional athlete, you only have a couple years to make it in this game. And a few critical mistakes can set you back years and probably ruin your entire career. Kind of like it happened to me, because at 19, I was getting compared to Andre Onana and Gianluigi Donnarumma. But by 25, I was retired, and now this is exactly why I have created a system for you guys to avoid the mistakes that I did and do all the right things that I did, because I've gone from the local club to the highest levels and also made all the mistakes. So you can have all the right things to do and then avoid all the wrong things so you can get to where you want to go a whole lot faster. Because trust me, most goalkeepers think you're too late or it's too hard or you need to be in the right country or have the right facilities. But I promise you, none of that matters. You don't need to be in Europe. You don't need to be in a pro academy at a young age. All you need is the right structure, the right system, and the right roadmap and guidance. So if you're tired of training without seeing results and want to train with real purpose to build skills that actually translate to the pitch, Inside, you'll find the exact system that took me from a local club to the Champions League, let alone you'll be having weekly calls with me to make sure that you stay on track. And it's not just a course, this is ongoing mentorship to make sure that I'm with you every step of the way, making sure that you're following the training programs correctly, your mental is right, we're reviewing your game film, we're reviewing tactical film to make sure that you understand the whole system of how to become a goalkeeper and not just become a good goalkeeper, but to become a great person. How you do something is how you do everything. So we're not just creating great goalkeepers, we're creating successful people. So what I would say is don't wait for the perfect moment. You got to go create your own reality. If you took something from this video, just leave a like down below and I hope to see you in the next one.